here we are. It looks like we are live officially, and it's yeah. So we'll just go ahead and get into it. First episode of the Outlook podcast. Hello, everyone. My name is Casey. I'm the founder of Midsouth Squad and the co-founder of Team Hailforce, and the idiot who's in the inflow notch, clearly blinded, yelling, "It's rapping!" while the RFD actually does that.
And I'm Connor. I'm founder of Vortex Ghost, radar analyst, and the guy frantically trying to find us an eastbound escape route on GR2 while Case is screaming, "We're in it," like he's narrating Twister 2.
Oh, come on now, bro. That's a good movie, but I don't think it was that bad now, bro. Anyways, have you ever tried to read a road sign through horizontal hail? Like, I was driving 60 in reverse, the inflow's roaring, camera swinging like a pendulum, and you're over here telling me, "Oh, you got maybe 40 seconds before the compass on top of you." Like, I didn't know that.
Listen, man, in my defense, I did tell you to kind of, hang back.
What? Well, no, I don't remember you telling me that. Okay, fine. Yes, you did. No, I did. But that's why this relationship works, Connor.
Right. And together, we are VHM. I run radar from home. Casey's out there dancing with the bear cage. We change, we analyze, we educate, and we are here to rip through misinformation like a stovepipe across a bean field.
Okay, that's actually a pretty good analogy. I'll have to give you that one. So let's be honest here. Storm chasing, it's become a bit of a circus, Twitter experts, tinfoil hatters yelling about NEXRAD microwaving, people treating tornado warnings like they're not real unless they're PDS or emergency. Like,
Absolutely. So we're here to set the record straight. We'll throw a little sarcasm in there, but it's all about facts. This isn't your grandma's weather podcast.
Yeah, Grandma, sit back and let the professionals handle this one. All right. All right. We're gonna go ahead and jump into it. Today's episode, we're gonna start out talking about the EF5 Drought. A lot of people wondering about that, where they went, and we're also gonna end up touching on radar and conspiracies that somehow still exist. And why, like I said at the beginning, why you should absolutely not wait for a tornado emergency before taking shelter. Every tornado warning should be taken seriously.
Absolutely. So I say we get straight into it. Let's start with the EF5 drought, Casey.
Now the question is: it myth or measurement? That is the question of the day. Dude, I just noticed that Vortex Ghost behind you. Dude, I really like that. I really like
man.
it.
We got two of them.
Heck yeah, man. All right. Let's just say it, dude. The EF5 drought, it's real. It's real. But not in the way that people would think, It's not just some extinction of the EF5 altogether, It's just that we're not confirming them the way we used to.
Right. And I mean, that's the key word, confirming. People act like the skies forgot how to make EF5s. Nah. The skies are cooking the same as ever. It's just the standards that change, not the storms.
Right, dude. People think that the Enhanced Fujita scale is just some vibe check. Like, oh, man, that was scary. Give it a 5, Ronnie. Nah, dude. There's math, there's engineering, building inspections. It's not a YouTube comment section.
Absolutely. And I'd also like to remind everybody, width has nothing to do with it. That's what gets me. You'll have a mile-wide wedge tearing up fields and Twitter goes, EF5 for sure. Meanwhile, survey crews are out there like it hit a shed and some grass.
Yeah. And that's where we come into play, We're talking like, oh, El Reno, that beast was almost 3 miles wide. It was a record-setting tornado, and it may hold that for a while, But when you look back on it, the damage it hit stuff that didn't prove it was an EF5. It got rated an EF3 initially from damage and not how big it was or how scary it was.
Absolutely. And that one barely even squeaked by as an EF5 later. And only because of mobile radar velocity readings, not even damage. That rating wouldn't fly today, not with post-Joplin standards at least.
Dude, exactly. And that's what I'm saying, you know? Since Joplin, damage surveys, they got an upgrade, you know? Now you've got structural engineers just crawling around slabs, checking bolt size and rebar depth. You know, it's not just, it looks bad anymore. Now it's a prove it kind of thing, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And what people forget is if your house wasn't properly anchored, a strong EF3 can tear it off the foundation like it's nothing. That doesn't prove EF5. That just proves we cut corners on construction.
Exactly, dude. Like, and that's the thing, you know. We have tornadoes that will do that kind of damage, but the houses were old. You know, they weren't up to code. And new code, new measurements. Like I chased the wedge back this March here in the Poplar Bluff area. You know, it looked nasty, insane motion. I could have sworn I seen a cow flying. You know, all it hit was open fields and a park. You know, and I think it ended up getting an EF3 rating overall. And everybody lost their minds after seeing it.
Yeah, and mostly on Twitter because they want a trophy. They want to say, I was in an EF5. But the EF5 rating means someone's entire life got erased. That is nothing you want to celebrate.
Exactly, dude. You know, and when people cry about no EF5s since 2013, I'm like, dude, that's a good thing. You know, that means that nothing provable got erased. No lives got forever destroyed. Take the win.
Yeah, and honestly, the EF scale is really misunderstood across the board. It's based on damage indicators, 28 of them, like schools, homes, towers, gas stations, but it only works if the tornado hits one of those and the building was actually built well.
Exactly. That's like I was mentioning earlier, you know, with code updates, building updates, everything that we do, the scale's got to get updated too. So if it's cornfields and cow pastures, and even if the wind's 280 miles an hour, you can't confirm it. You just got lucky no DI was in the path. You know, that's not a downgrade. That's just bullet dodged.
Yeah, and absolutely. And radar, don't even get me started. I see people screenshot velocity on GR2 and go, look, 295 knots, EF5. Like, come on, bro. That's like 10,000 feet up. We rate based on surface level destruction, not how cool it looked on radar or what it looked like on radar.
Exactly. And I'm telling you, dude, some of those tornadoes look amazing on radar. Like the few in Texas this past year look great, and the anticyclonic rotation and everything. But
right.
you know, we've all chased those storms. You know, it felt like an EF5. You know, the roar was there, the debris and the motion was there. But feeling is one thing, and proving is another thing. You know, the EF scale does not care how scared you were or how cool it looked. It cares what got hit and how it held up.
Absolutely. And you know what else, Casey? A lot of the structures we use to rate tornadoes, they're just not as common in rural areas. That's why the big ones in open country or county rarely score high. They don't hit anything worth measuring.
Exactly. You know, and that's the big deal breaker right here with it's not about the size, you know?
Absolutely.
And that's what I want people to understand. It's like trying to clock a home run with no bat. You know that storm swung hard, but there's nothing to show how far the ball went. You're just guessing, you know?
Exactly. And when you guess, what happens? You risk blowing it way out of proportion. That's why engineers don't play that game anymore. It's not about what it could have been, rather than it's about what we can prove with what is left.
Yeah. And that's where it gets difficult, you know? I mean, with what's left, even if there is nothing left, what was that house? What was that building? When was it built? You know, is it new? Is it old? And you know, it's funny. People, they treat an EF5 like a badge of honor, but for us, it's like that's the last thing we want to hear. They rated it because that means it hit something that was supposed to survive and still failed.
Right, yeah, man. And it's also wild how folks say there's a cover up. Sort of like the government doesn't want EF5s on the books anymore. Like, what would that even accomplish? There's no such thing as an EF5 Illuminati. I promise.
That yeah, no, it's so dumb, man. Like God, dude. Like no conspiracy, just stricter standards. You want a tornado rated EF5 now? It's got to rip a well-built building, clean off the map, and leave no questions about how it did it.
Absolutely. I mean, we're not saying the EF5s are not happening. They can happen, wherever, however, at any time. But we're saying they're not hitting the right combination of structure, engineering, and survey access to confirm
it. Exactly, dude. And I'm trying to figure out how best way to put this without being offensive. It's like a lottery ticket. You know, you don't. It's like a lottery ticket you don't want to win. All numbers got to line up. Direct hit, solid building, survey team available, no debris interference, and thankfully, that's getting to be more rare.
Yeah, that's very good, and I'm thankful for that. And I get it. People love the scale. It gives storms identity. We all love identity, but we gotta stop acting like a lower rating means a less dangerous storm. EF3 will still shred your house and in your life if you are in the wrong place.
Dude, that's exactly what I've been trying to tell people on Twitter for months now, dude. All these amateurs, man, wondering if we're going to get an EF5. People in my TikTok comments asking, are we going to see an EF5? And I chased those storms, those EF3s that were scarier than some of the confirmed 5s we've had. And especially if it's fast moving, high precip, and comes out of nowhere, those are the ones that just haunt you, bro.
Exactly, bro. So the obsession with EF5, I believe it's misplaced. It's a cool number, but the reality behind it is absolutely brutal. And the lack of them lately, that's just pure luck. That's grace. That's what me, you, and the rest of our team want and love to see.
Exactly, dude. We want to see it rated lower. In fact, we would prefer it was rated EFU, then unrated, obviously. But for those who don't know, EFU is unrated. I mean, yeah, the drought is real, but it's not about the storms being weaker. It's not about government interfering with the ratings for insurance. It's about the tornadoes missing the worst case scenario targets. And that's something that we as chasers and we as humans should be thankful for and not complaining about.
Man, all I can say is preach. And when the next one does get confirmed, we'll know because it'll hit something we all wish it hadn't.
Exactly, dude. And we'll be looking back on it like, man, maybe we shouldn't have been wishing for an F5 all this time. Just maybe we should calm down a little bit. But until then, let's just stop rooting for the destruction, Let's just stop wishing to boost a stat. Chase smart, study hard, and stop yelling EF5 every time you see a wedge on TikTok.
Right, because trust me, we've been there, we've seen monsters, but the EF5 label, that's only reserved for storms that left behind more than just good, and I mean really good drone footage.
And we've seen some of that recently, man. That I'm telling you, that those chases recently in North Dakota, South Dakota, and all of that. We've gotten some great quality footage out of that. And what that's taught us right there is to respect the storm, not the number.
Absolutely. You always have to respect the storm, never the number. It's something that's very important. So, all right.
All right. we're going to go ahead and get off the EF5 topic here. You know, we're going to jump into probably one of my favorite things to talk about, and that is radar conspiracies, such as microwaves, mind control, and the midnight meltdown. So we're just we're gonna do it. It's probably one of the wildest corners of the internet, especially when you get onto Twitter. And the people think that NEXRAD radar sites are, dude, I don't even know where to start, man. Causing rain, triggering earthquakes, beaming brainwaves, melting the sky. Like, what aren't they using the radar of at this point, dude? And that was a direct quote from Twitter.
Literally, like, we used to have to explain to people what radar was. Now we're having to tell people it isn't a weather god with Bluetooth. Oh, man.
Oh, dude, a radar god with Bluetooth. No. That's probably the furthest thing from what it is. And
Absolutely.
genuinely, man, someone looked at the basic radar layout. Like freaking regular tilt, reflectivity, boom. Oh, it lines up perfectly with some smart city map. Like, dude, NEXRAD isn't syncing up with your city planner to execute a skywide city power SimCity power move. Sorry, I can't speak properly.
Yeah, man, and the proof was a radar loop with regular ground clutter blobs and the MIT 15-minute city map side by side, circles over cities. Oh no, not where people live and work. The horror, man.
Oh no! The most populated places in the world, and there's a radar site in those towns? What? No! You know, it's not even a creative conspiracy anymore. It's lazy, you know? At least say something new like radar controls traffic lights. I would entertain that more than the pulses made it snow in Arizona in 2013.
Bro, you know what's crazy? I saw someone say, and I quote, "The NEXRAD towers emit frequencies that interact with metal particulates in the sky sprayed by planes to manipulate weather and trigger tornadoes, hail, and even earthquakes." Bro, like what?
Bro, I don't understand how these people just live day-to-day basis, you know? It's like they just must be so scared of even stepping outside when they look up and they see a normal cloud. You know, tornadoes, hail, earthquakes. Dude, Girly Pop thinks the radar beam is playing Roblox with admin commands and tectonic plates now? Come on.
Bro, and the phrase they used was metal particulates the plane spray. Like, I'm sorry. What budget Marvel movie villain wrote that, bro? Like, what?
Stan Lee up in heaven probably wondering what the heck is going on down there.
I swear.
All right, hold on just a second, man. I gotta collect myself. Oh man, no. You know, it gets better. It really does. You know, people will post radar clutter returns and say that these spikes are unnatural energy waves. No, Karen, that's just a wind farm, or possibly even a temperature inversion. Your microwave is more dangerous than a radar tower.
Meanwhile, man, I'm sitting at my desk sipping coffee from a cup I microwaved. No nausea, no weather powers, no earthquakes triggered under Kentucky. Just me, caffeine, and another idiot posting. They're firing again.
Hey, why are you talking about Kentucky like that?
I'm sorry.
I'm kidding, man. Hey, you drinking coffee hasn't caused me any sort of shaking yet. I'll let you know if it does, though. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, anyways, you know the scary part of this is these posts, they get traction. One lady on Twitter, she said it's hard to watch in real time with a radar loop. What exactly is hard to watch? Precipitation?
You know it's hard to watch? You trying to convince 87,000 people that your headache came from a beam aimed at Tennessee at 3 o'clock in the morning. That's why.
Oh no, man! The Memphis radar gave me a headache, and some people in Florida got a headache now. Oh, what gonna do, man? Now, and you know what? They treat radar like it's a Death Star, bro. Like at 1:36, they initiated the pulse. Pulse? That's a volume scan, bro. Like, you're tracking a hydrometeor, not surviving a laser strike.
I'll say something. Have you noticed the timestamps always late at night, as if the radar beams maybe have like a bedtime routine? Ah, yes. Midnight. Time to manipulate some molecules. Like, what are they even talking about, bro?
Hey, it's midnight, bro. It's time to go give them people a headache again. You know what I'm saying?
Right, yeah, man.
Bro, come on. But, like, forget weather models, dude. You know, we just need a moon phase and a tinfoil forecast. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight's GFS model shows 70% chance of enhanced ignorance with isolated dumbassery after midnight.
We don't even need radar to control storms. Half the time, bro, the HRRR can't even find the MCV. But sure, the government has pinpoint storm puppeteering tech that works, flawlessly.
Dude, the HRRR, bro, that pisses me off, man. That model is inaccurate to the last possible second. And they think that we can control the weather? Like, please. And my favorite, dude, that the pulses cause migraines. Maybe it's not the radar. Just maybe. I may be wrong on that. But maybe it's the 5 hour energy drinks, the Monster Energy, and the 12-hour Twitter binge.
They think $1 billion network is out to make these things that were true. Storm chasers like us would be laid out on the side of the road, foaming at the mouth.
Bro, if they could control weather and they could tell me where the next tornado would be, I would never miss one, bro. And I'd have tornado of the year every single time instead of sitting at home wondering if I can make North Dakota in time. But instead, we're just tired, under-caffeinated, and yelling rotation into our radios while they're busy putting together Pinterest boards about the radar detoxes.
It's funny you say radar detox. You know that's going to be a real product someday. Cleanse your aura after a level 2 scan. Comes with a sage and a sticker.
A little sticker, I survived the radar. I survived the Vortex Ghost radar controllers. They're sending beams at us. And just to clarify for the folks listening, radar emits radio waves, not lasers, not microwaves, not emotion, just radio waves. The same basic stuff your garage door uses to open.
So unless you're getting, psychic headaches from your garage, this probably ain't the villain you're looking for.
Bro, my garage door opened and I've got a headache now, man. I'm already feeling it, bro. I'm feeling the wave. Bro, being real, it's science. Radar beams go out, bounce off things like raindrops, debris, and they come back, give us data. And we read that data, we tell you if the cloud is about to yeet itself at your house, and that's it.
Literally, like, no hidden messages, no heat wave generation, no secret government button marked, severe thunderstorm go boom, nothing of that.
Dude, if we had a button that said severe thunderstorm go boom, I'd be... Dude, I'd be over here pressing that thing like a muff, I'd be... Boom! So, but if there was a button like that, I'd be using it on my morning commute, bro.
Oh, absolutely.
Cut me off. Surprise squall line, buddy. Boom.
Oh, that's hilarious, man. So if you're watching radar loops on X and thinking they're blasting pulses into the atmosphere to trigger weather, you should probably take a nap. Or better yet, go outside and realize the sky isn't plotting against you or anybody out there.
I don't know, man. Sometimes I think that sky is plotting against me because of how many times I chased busts, bro. It might be plotting against me, honestly. I'm chasing those damn busts all the time, bro. Like, I don't think I've seen a proper tornado since last year. And especially if you live in Kansas during storm season, then maybe it kind of is plotting against you. You know, I swear Kansas chaser always gets shafted. Like,
Yeah,
more than
I mean, that's fair, but even then, it's not radar's fault. You know, it's nature doing what nature does. Radar just reports it. It's the messenger.
yeah, yeah. Just thought I'd throw in a little joke. Everybody is always talking about Kansas, bro, and Kansas gets shafted. Oklahoma sometimes gets shafted, but it's not radar. It's not the towers. We don't need to go destroy them, guys. So, like another thing that I want to say is it's about radar, but it's an analogy that I was thinking of a bit ago. You know, and you don't want to blame the mailman when your Amazon package gets delayed. You know, that's all I'm saying.
Right, and if you really believe it's the source of all your problems, maybe ask why meteorologists aren't gods by now, because radar, you know, it's just does its thing. You can't really help that.
Exactly. It doesn't control the weather, bro. It doesn't control.
Yeah, no, it does not at all.
Nothing does. You know, it's just that we have active seasons sometimes. We have inactive seasons sometimes. And it's not because of the towers sending waves out. It isn't, and that's not the reason people are getting headaches. You know, if I could summon hailstorms on command, I wouldn't be. I'd be selling personal storms to drop on your.
Oh yeah, and I mean, let's see.
Reset your camera, bro. Don't let it fall down on you.
Yeah, I'm trying. Hang on, my camera.
You know, I'll just keep on yapping here while you do that. Radar is hurting you, bro. You know, the pulses aren't activating weather, and no, that green and blue blob on your screen, it's not a declaration of war. It's rain. You're gonna be all right.
Oh yeah, you're gonna be perfectly fine. You know, it's not radar's fault or anything like that.
Bro's a little distracted.
Yeah, yeah, it's fine.
And unless the war says otherwise, then maybe don't wait to see it. And that's what we're gonna drop into. We're gonna drop into tornado warning years now. And talk about this too. You know what they mean and what they don't.
Yeah, let's get into it, man.
You're frozen.
Am I frozen?
Yeah, I'm just looking at you, staring at me, all creepy and whatnot.
Uh-oh. Hang on, let me
Just turn your camera off and back on, and keep talking while you do it. It's fine.
Yeah, I'm just trying to. Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to fix my camera. We're trying to get this back. Dude, I'm trying so hard.
Bro, I'm got to get into this, so I'm just gonna, you know, hey, you're moving again. Anyways, the basic tornado warning, it doesn't move people anymore. You know, if it doesn't say PDS or tornado emergency, it's like folks assume it's suggestion, like leather version of you up, bro.
Okay. My thing is not working. My thing is not working, KC.
Well, we're still live and recording. You know, bro's having trouble. I don't know what troubles he's having. You know, just listen to me yap. You know, the standard warning still means there's rotation or area, and it doesn't mean that we're unsure. It means danger is here. You know, the branding just got watered down by people expecting to see the blockbuster storms. And it's like if people only took fire alarms seriously when the house was already halfway burned down. You know, it's not a PDS fire alarm. So I think we're good. I think we're good to keep burning the bacon. You know, keep cooking that bacon.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Dude, this got me so messed up.
Forget it. Forget it. Just do your thing, bro. You know, break it down. There's a basic tornado warning. Then you've got the tornado warning, which is particularly dangerous situation. And then you got the self-used tornado emergency. And that is get underground, call your mom, and rethink your sins kind of alert there. And it only becomes a tornado emergency if a confirmed large tornado is heading towards a populated area. So most warnings won't be tornado emergency. And to be completely real, they don't need to be.
No, not everything needs to be a tornado emergency or anything like that. So, yeah.
No, but just people literally wait for that label, and they'll literally say, "Oh, it's not a PDS tornado, so I'm not worried." Bro, that tornado was still trying to body slam your house. It just didn't get the height tag. And the difference is, it's radar indicated, radar confirmed, whatever. You know, even if it's just thunderstorm warning, take it seriously. You know, it's like only cars. If oh, on a Civic doing 90, I think I'm fine.
Oh yeah, and it's a stress for me. Oh my gosh, bro. Okay.
It's just a chat back and forth. You know, it's just don't think too much into it. You know.
Yeah, man.
You know, like I see it. Look, I see it all the time. Chasing. You know, people come out of their homes with their phones filming. You know, they're waiting for the moment the warning upgrades. And sorry, guys out there on your front porch. Sorry, Midwesterners. The moment that warning upgrades to confirmed or PDS tornado, it's too late for you.
Oh yeah, man. Once it hits that, it's over. It's time to go. Time to get locked in. So,
Dude, and as a radar runner for you, you know, like radar shows a tight couplet, gate to gate, shear, and debris ball. I'm out of there, bro. You know, I don't wait for it to be Twitter official, you know.
yeah, man. I mean, the moment I see that thing, I'm like, yo, Casey, like this is what's happening. This is where you need to be. You know, stuff like that, because that's nothing you want to mess around with.
And then there's the folks, oh, it's just radar indicated. Oh, no biggie, right? No biggie. Just 180 mile per hour rotating column of air that hasn't hit a cow yet. We're fine, bro.
See, the way I see things, even if it's radar indicated, take it serious like any other tornado, because it may be radar indicated until somebody else spots it. So
Exactly. And, you know, we've seen it time and time again. They were radar indicated. You remember Hackleburg, Yazoo City, Cordova. You know, half of them didn't even get the emergency tag until the damage was already happening.
yeah, absolutely. And that's why you always take polygons and warnings very, very seriously. Even severe thunderstorm warnings, you know, some of those can be considered severe. So,
I mean, imagine baseballs coming down through your roof, you know? I mean, visuals, great. But a lot of time, the information is inferred through radar. And it's damn good at its job. You know, if velocity shows a strong couplet and debris signature, that's a tornado, period. Whether it's PDS or not.
absolutely, dude. And, you know, radar plays a huge role in, you know, seeing things before anybody else does. I can see something before you. And that's when I tell you, hey, Casey, this. And there we go.
Yeah. You know, that genuinely reminds me, like when we're chasing, I'm just on the road. It could be blue skies above me, and you're telling me where to go. You're like, hey, dude, you know, we've got a polygon over here, tornado radar indicated. It looks like it's got a good couplet on it. It looks like it's moving quick. If you want to jet north and catch an intercept from it moving east, you'll be able to do it by going here, here, and here, and in the next radar scan, it upgrades, it looks stronger, and it looks like we're gonna get something, But no, it's not Pokemon cards. You don't need a holographic PDS for it to be game. Like a base level tornado warning is still a tornado warning, and I take them all seriously. I'm every single one of them that you radio me, hey, there's a tornado warning on this cell. Maddie and I will get in the car, we'll jet north, we'll jet wherever it is, we'll go up and intercept it, and most of the time we will get up under there and we'll see that rotation before it even touches down. And it's
I mean, dude, that picture you sent me, I believe, was in Paducah, Kentucky.
The most recent one, no, is actually we went over to Missouri. We got on that cell that you told us looked like it was going to produce, and it actually did. It ended up being a supercell that produced through London, and it's a big 500-mile long track of just being a supercell,
Yeah, man.
And unfortunately, National Weather Service there didn't issue a stronger tornado warning in time, and this is exactly why I say take all tornado warnings seriously. Because if it's just radar indicated and they haven't updated it to PDS or tornado emergency yet, and it runs through the town like it did London, they were late on that emergency declaration. But nonetheless, it goes to show that it doesn't have to be tornado emergency or PDS tornado warning for there to be a tornado on the ground.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And, like you said, perfect blue skies, beautiful. And then, boom, it could be on the ground. Nobody knows what's happening, and then it's too late. So you always have to be prepared for things that,
like it produces on the dry line, and suddenly it's there. Like we chase for a reason. We know how fast these things go from just rotation to game over. You remember what happened in Joplin? Like suddenly there wasn't a tornado, and then it was. It was a massive. And it's warning. The warning lead times, they've improved, but you still have to respect all those alerts. Anybody who has survived a tornado will tell you that you have to take it seriously.
Oh yeah.
And honestly, warning does escalate. That means it is confirmed, like something we may have already known, and it's serious. But the base warning still means to take cover. It's literally in the bottom of the text. Take cover away from windows. And put as many walls between you and the outside as you can. Don't debate it. Don't wait for your friend to text you, and don't wait to see it. Move.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I know how it feels to survive one of those. So it is a little bit different for me on how to take that serious, because it's not a joke. It's not funny. It's none of that. You need to be in the lowest part of your house, away from windows, in between walls. And if you live in a mobile home, you need to go to a community shelter, because these things are not a joke.
Dude, and it's your life in that situation. It's your life. It's not your clout, not your Snapchat story, and not your storm selfie. Get inside, get low, shut up and live.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. It's insane how many people don't take precautions to tornadoes, and that's why some lose their lives. So it's just something that's devastating, but you have to do.
Exactly. For the record, tornado warning, act on it. PDS tornado warning, really act on it. Tornado emergency, you better pray to whatever God you believe in and act even faster. But don't wait for the label. Just take shelter, And if it turns out it wasn't a tornado, great. You just got some bonus cardio for the day running up and down your stairs like that, or to your outside to your cellar, or wherever you go, But if it was and you hesitated because it didn't say PDS or emergency, or it didn't say it was actually a tornado on the ground, that could be the difference between you living to say good morning to your kids tomorrow and having to plan your wife's funeral,
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'd rather it be a severe thunderstorm warning with 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. But sometimes, unfortunately, it is not that. And you need to do what's right for not only yourself, but your family, kids, husband, wife, whoever, auntie, uncle. Just do the right thing and take precaution.
Exactly. And what I say is the warning will eventually expire, but the regret may never expire.
Absolutely. I mean, you better go before it's too late, or you may live and one of your loved ones may not, and now you gotta live with that because you didn't take shelter.
Yeah, and you didn't warn them. You didn't make it seem dangerous enough to go downstairs. Oh, just go back to bed. It'll be all right. Next thing you know, your house is, but all right, guys, I think we've spent enough time rambling about all this stuff. If you've made it this far, congratulations. You've survived the microwave beams, the EF scale rants, and our collective meltdowns over people ignoring tornado warnings. This was a lot, and I know I don't shut up, but it needed to be said. Because let's be real, there's a huge disconnect right now between what we know about storms and what people think they know.
Yeah.
And if we don't talk about it straight up, we're just letting the noise win. We're letting those people take over from the truth, and what we do goes down in vain.
Absolutely. I mean, we're just bringing awareness to maybe the ones that aren't understanding or don't know anything about it. That's what me and Casey want to do, is just push out not misinformation, but better information on how things work and what to believe and not to believe. So I'll let you take it.
Yeah. And, we broke down the EF drought, why we don't see them on paper anymore, even though it still exists. We went after those radar is hurting me people and, laid out the most basic respect for the polygon, respect the polygon. And like they say in New York and Chicago, mind the gap at the train stations, respect the polygon. I hope that this episode could shake some fear into your guys' hearts about how dangerous weather really is. It's not just a joke, and it's not the government coming after you. Storms don't wait, and you shouldn't wait either. We just want you guys to be safe.
Absolutely.
But our goal overall isn't to scare you, even though I just said we want to put fear. It's a healthy fear that we want to put in your minds. Fear itself doesn't make you safer. But the knowledge that we spew here and ramble on about, that can save your life. And that's what this podcast in general is about, is getting a better understanding.
Yeah, man. I mean, if we can help you understand, by all means, I hope you're listening.
Exactly. And if we can make you laugh and learn in this episode, I think we've done our job. Well, assuming that we didn't get canceled for saying the only thing Radar fried was her last 2 brain cells on Twitter.
Yeah, or the Roblox joke.
Dude, but I stand by that one though.
That one's facts. Yeah, I play Twisted. No, you don't.
If you're blaming your headache on base reflectivity, we're gonna call it out. But we're also gonna break it down, oh guys, I was playing Twisted the other day. And I got a headache the moment that I saw that radar in game.
No, that's just the blue light.
Yeah, that's probably blue light and a lack of sleep.
Yeah, yeah, probably get some sleep,
dude. And this is just the start. Episode 1 in the books. I hope you guys enjoyed it. This is the first podcast ever, so sorry we're kind of new to this, but we're just chatting around, hanging out, having fun, doing whatever. Next week, though, we're diving into the one topic that brings out all the elite conspiracy theories.
I can't wait.
You ready for this one?
Absolutely.
Or, as we normally like to say, contrails. Chemtrails, contrails, or just BS. So I hope you're ready for a great episode next week. I'm going to stop talking. And Connor, if you want to say anything else, by means, stop me from rambling and start rambling yourself.
All right. Well, we are happy that you guys are watching me and Casey from Midsouth, Vortex Ghost. We appreciate everybody here watching, and we hope to see you on the next episode. So I think we are done.
All right. And signing out from VHM here. We'll see you guys in the next episode.
Peace.